Hello guys, and welcome yourselves back to a brand new type of video. Today we're going to be covering the developer interview over on the Washington Post that I saw the other day, and just touching on a few things that went on in that interview and a couple of things that were said. So the Washington Post had a chance to talk with one of the co-founders of Irongate and talk to them about their plans and what the future looks like for Valheim, and I thought it was very insightful and very interesting. And there was a couple of subjects that I wanted to touch on personally and sort of share my thoughts with it and how I think it's probably going to go down in the future. So the big thing that I want to talk about first is the combat balancing and update, if you will. So during the interview, it was said that bows are currently considered to be too overpowered, and I slightly have to agree with them. In the background now, you'll see a snippet of the stream that I was doing yesterday, where I went to a falling village. I had the maxed out Drager bow, and I was only using the obsidian arrows, which I believe are the second or third best arrows in the game. And I was managing to one-hit most of the fallings in the village from a distance. They weren't really getting to me, and I can understand where they're coming from in that perspective. A lot of people think the bow is just going to be dumbed down to the point where it's not usable anymore, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So with the game, a lot of different enemies have different strengths and weaknesses and resistances, and I think what they want to do is they would like to touch upon that a bit more and just get people to learn the mechanics, strengths, weaknesses, have different tactics and strategies for different enemies in the game, and just generally make it a bit challenging and a bit more rewarding and not always just dive into combat. They actually said in the interview that they would like people to sometimes maybe engage or disengage in certain situations. So they don't want every single situation for you to be able to run in and just, I don't know, shoot from afar with your bow or swing with a hammer and freeze everyone. So I personally think there might be more weapon nerfs coming in the future. Maybe looking at the Frostner here. But we'll see. We'll see as time goes. I think they just generally want to balance things a little bit more, just to make it a more challenging experience within the game itself. I think they wanted to make it a little bit more brutal. But going off of that as well, they've also touched upon PvP and what their plans are for that in the future. And I think that's something else to talk about that kind of ties into the combat balancing. PvP, there's not a focus on in the studio at the moment. They said if there's a high enough demand for it, that they will consider it. But at the moment, there is nothing on the table, and the game is being developed around being a PvE environment game, which I think is really, really cool. But they said there's not to rule out Viking Colosseums of people doing PvP battles. So you never know, it might be coming in the future, but I feel like they're going to focus and balance the game towards a PvE aspect at the moment, and then we'll see in the future if more game modes and stuff come in. Another key point of this interview is that they are hiring more staff members. So currently, if you didn't know, the Valheim team consists of 5 people. And they've made such an amazing game for us, and just complete hats off to them. But I have seen some people get a little bit impatient for updates. I mean, 5 people have made this game. It's taken them 3 years to get it to this point. It might take a little bit of time for updates to start coming out, and there's bugs and stuff they have to fix before they start just rolling out content. So I think we're going to be another month or two before we start seeing anything significant changing, mainly because once you're going to have to go through and you're going to have to recruit people and you're going to have to vet them and just kind of just go through and sort of handpick. There's going to be interviews and all this other stuff to go through. And then once they've selected the team members, I believe they are hiring another programmer, as there is currently only one in the team. They're hiring another animator and a quality assurance manager, I believe. Don't quote me on the last one there. I can't remember what the last one was. But definitely another programmer and definitely another animator. So it sounds like they're ready to put their heels in. They don't want to hire too many people. They don't want to have a big studio. They'd rather have a close-knit team that all sort of have the same vision in mind. They don't want to just have hundreds of people and just every employee feel just like a cog in a machine or just another number for them. So they want to stay small. They want to stay humble, which is a fantastic thing to hear. The two co-founders actually worked for big studios in the past, and they said they don't want to do that again, which I honestly think is just going to be the best thing for the game. They've got it to this point with a small team. The future of this game is going to be with a small team as well. So it's just going to require a bit of patience. Things will be coming out in the future for that. So the next thing to touch on is the big 4 updates that they have planned for this year. So the first update they're looking at doing is going to be a building update. So that could be furniture or more building blocks or more building materials or just more building options in general. The second one is going to be a combat focused update. So this might be where we see the bow nerf. Some of the other weapons might get more powerful. Some might get weaker. We'll see. They might just balance it out. Maybe change up some of the resistances and weaknesses of different mobs. They might add some more in. We're not entirely sure what that consists of yet. They've not shared too many details. They've kind of just given us a basic roadmap. The third update is going to be on sailing and ships. I believe I saw somewhere a while back that that's going to consist of customizing ships and whatnot. So that's going to be quite interesting. And then towards the end of the year, they are looking at implementing more stuff into the Mistland biome, which would be really cool. As you know, that is a biome that is already in the game, but there is nothing in it. There is the artwork, there are the trees, which are covered in cobwebs and stuff, so I don't know what's going to be coming for that. I personally am super excited. I'm half hoping that it's not spiders, but I have a feeling it will be, so we'll see when that comes around. The first one is definitely going to be a building and furniture update, and the co-developer, the co-founder himself, has said that he loves adding new things to the game. He loves adding new building materials. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to entail. And I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. What sort of things would you like to see in the first update, so the building and the furniture update? Personally, for myself, I would like to see more furniture items. An armor stand would be nice. That's one thing that I've always wanted to do since the beginning, is collect all the sets of armor, level them all the way up, and display them somewhere in my house, my base, whatever. Just be nicer out in the open. You can kind of do it with the item stands and whatnot, but I'd love to have just like an actual figure. You could use that for so much other cooler things. So if you had like an armor stand or like a dummy, you could use it as a training dummy, or you could make like an archery setup. I think it would add quite a few creative ideas or options with just like an armor stand or like a dummy that you could put things on. Another thing I would love to see is an actual like dedicated weapons rack. So maybe like holds up to 4 to maybe 6 weapons, and you can place it on the floor and you can display like all your weapons and stuff. Because as you go through the game, you level your stuff up, you get up to black metal, you're not using your iron sword as much, your copper sword, stuff like that. The shields and the stuff you can put on the walls and whatnot at the moment, and they look really, really nice. But I think a real nice armor stand for like your weapons. You could have like a line of swords, you could have one that's full of the bows and stuff. Maybe you could even put arrows on them and have something like that. That would be really, really cool. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below. I'd love to see what other people are thinking and what sort of things they would like added into the game. Personally, for me, it's just those two small little things that I think could add quite a few features into the game. So on top of that, they also talked about some of the bugs that people are experiencing, mainly with the boats. They believe it's due to water physics, but they're not exactly sure what's causing it yet, but they are aware of it, so it's something that they're actively thinking about and probably working on. Trees crushing people, apparently that is intentional and they find it hilarious, so I don't think that's going to be going anytime soon. I also agree with them. I think it is so funny watching some of the videos of people getting crushed by trees, especially those heat-seeking logs that some people seem to be having. And the last thing to touch on here from that interview was some of the mysteries and secrets that we have in the game currently. So the hooded figure that mysteriously appears at night sometimes, and then you go close to him and he disappears. And you can't really talk to him and he keeps running away from you. They want kind of things like that. They think stuff like that in an open world survival game is needed, and they want to keep some mysteries, they want to keep some secrets, and they want to open it to players' own interpretations and leave a little bit of mystery and intrigue around the game. They're going to develop on some things in the future, and they're going to be adding some more secrets and mysteries. So more things to come in the future, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts. I will link the Washington Post video and the article below, so you can go have a read through it yourself and see what you think. I'm super excited. It's great to finally hear from the developers themselves. From what I've heard, they're feeling quite overwhelmed, which is understandable. This game has skyrocketed to a level that they didn't even anticipate. And yeah, like, the bar's been set so high now. There's so many expectations for them. I can only imagine how stressed out they are. But I just want to say hats off to Iron Gate. You've produced a fantastic game. And honestly, personally for me, if this game never got updated, I would be happy as it was, because I've had so much fun playing this game up until this point. I'm looking forward to the future updates, but at the same time, at this point, I couldn't even be mad at this game because I've just had so much fun with it. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys have found this video informational, or you've learned something from it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Let me know what you'd like added, what sort of things you'd like added in the first update that's to come. Let me know what you think about the bow nerf. Again, I've just kind of had background footage playing here from the stream that I did last night. Just playing with the bow and doing some other things, and just how overpowered the bow can seem towards the end of the game, especially with the end game stuff. So I can kind of, personally, I can sympathize with why they might want to nerf the bow a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are thinking. But let me know your thoughts below anyway. I'd love to hear from you guys and see what you guys have to say. And yeah, any more updates or interviews that I can find, I will 100% be covering them, because again, I love this game and anything to do with it. So as much information as I can get and divulge to you guys, I will do. So yes, thank you guys very much. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I shall catch you in the next video. Goodbye.